Are. It is February 1st, all. Uh, Wishing you the best here on this, in Southern California at least, snowy, wet day. But I'm surviving here. It's all good. I wanted to come in here and encourage you in sharing and declaring what you discover. I'm picking up on my theme this week of what I call the core four. It's a fundamental way of being and living and starting your day, hopefully in power and clarity, getting you moving through the day. And so I think it's important to share what you're learning with others, and not and you know it's important as we're discovering new things. How does it apply to our lives? Because at least for me, I love learning from others and hearing what has worked with them and what hasn't worked. And so um, every day I get the opportunity to discover something new intentionally. Sometimes that happens by accident, but honestly, I'm intentionally doing that. And for me, oftentimes that comes through reading. I do a Bible devotional and multiple ones. Sometimes I'll read there, or I'll read a book. Um, that That's why books behind me, because I love reading. I love exploring new things and understanding concepts and applying them. And so when we do our what I call my core four every day, is there is this space in the day that we look at. um, and if you go back to my last couple of lives, I've talked about some things in the body domain with your fuel and your fitness. But then I talked about um, areas in your spiritual life, or where we talk about meditation and journaling. And then yesterday evening, I talked about attitude of gratitude. How do we show up caring and showing love and appreciation for those in our life? So that's three-fourths of it. The last part of the core four that I do, and we bring this in the coaching program, and there's elements about how we can equip you and train you in this. But the idea is, what are you learning every day? Hopefully you're learning lots of things, but at least one thing that you're learning every day. And I call this a discovery. So what are you discovering about what you're doing, what you're reading, what you're consuming? So there's a discovery part, which is great. We all love discoveries, right? That's an amazing thing. But what is it? When somebody struck gold here, in California, or where they found, I just heard, I think this week there was a discovery of Amelia Earhart's plane, possibly. For those of you that was lost like almost 100 years ago, it's incredible. So you have a discovery, right? The discovery is amazing in of itself, but then it's about, what do you do with that discovery? It's processing it and sharing it and getting that message out to, could be your wife, could be your children, could be a coworker, but you're sharing what this means and why it means something to you. So it's taking the discovery, it's actually making it real and applying that to your life. So for me, I love devotionals. I love groups sharing and that ability. So I use a thing called the YouVersion Bible app, where we go in there. There's sometimes shared devotionals where we read, and then it's like, talk about it. What did you get from this? What was your take on this? I love that kind of opportunity. Or in the case of this morning, I met with a couple great guys, Thomas and Milan, and we have a regular meeting every Thursday morning for an hour, where we come in and we talk about business, and we talk about our kind of return and report, what's working in our business, what's not working, and we share resources or understanding. Like, I learned this, I was aware of this. One of the things I'm working on myself that you're going to see in the next couple of weeks probably is I'll be doing a webinar, an opportunity for those that come in to steer your business, steer yourself. It's just another resource I'm going to be putting out there to share information and help others. I'm learning how to better use the tool, right? And so when I talk about one of the books in the warrior training that I do, Warrior Core 4 here, is we talk about what is core, what is the four, and so the fourth domain is really your business domain. So we've talked about your body earlier. We've talked about what it looks like for your being, your spiritual whatever that is for you, and then your relationships and balance. And so then now I'm coming to you and talking about business. It doesn't always have to be business, but honestly, there's a lot I can learn and discover, and then I can apply that in my business. So, um, and this is really important because I just shared a book with my son called Elevate. We're talking here literally like 30 minutes ago, and I'm like, he's asking me questions, and what can I learn, and how can I apply this? And I'm like, well, here's a book that I've read, how it's affected me, and I feel like in a positive way, and let's talk about it and work through it together. So I want to encourage you to discover, number one. And if you're not actively discovering on a daily basis, I would encourage you to ask yourself why. Why am I kind of in a rut or doing the same thing? If you're watching the same TV or reading the same book, not that you can't discover something from that, you can, absolutely. But I want you to think, are you being active in your discovery, or are you being passive in your discovery? When you're actively looking for things and seeking things out, you'll find lots of things there. It's about living that way, and planning time. So a lot of time people say, I haven't read a book in years. Well, they're not just being intentional about it, right? I love books because I feel like there's just so much in them. I find I read both Kindle or ebook versus a physical book. I like both, but honestly, I do more reading in the physical books because I can write in them and put notes, and that's all good for me. But again, what are you discovering? What inspires you? Get curious. That's what I would say. And oftentimes you might find one thing leads to another thing leads to another thing. So for me this year, I'm skiing more. I wanted to ski more. I've been doing more research on how to ski better. I want to know. I want to know how to improve myself. And so get excited. Find things that you can discover and dig into, and be curious. Don't just cut yourself off. You might be like, oh, I never thought I would be into that. So let yourself wander a little bit, explore if you're not sure right now, but be open to discovery. And then once you discover something, this is the other half. So it's all good to just to do the reading, to find these things, but then it's here it is. Here's the bigger thing: is share it, because it becomes more real for you. You apply it more. It's one thing to just kind of discover, you find it, but you will forget it. It will be lost. And the more that you can share and teach, and that's where why did I get into coaching consulting to begin with? But I love this way of being and learning, but learning is one thing, teaching and applying it is something else. And I know that's so important for me, because when I apply it, I learn it, I live it. And so if you can declare what you've discovered, you're going to be in a much more powerful place. So think about this in your day. We've talked the last few days, and you can jump on, follow my lives the last couple days, where you're following me on here. But we talked about body, being, balance, business. If you do all of these things in the course of maybe, let's say, a few hours in the morning, and doesn't, if you stack all of these things, boom, 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 think about the foundation that you have. You have just learned something new. You shared what you've learned in some form or fashion. You could be posting on social media. It could be talking to somebody on the phone throughout the day that you've learned in a meeting. How you do this? You've worked out in some fashion. You've fueled yourself well. You've taken time to meditate, clear your mind, journal, write out your thoughts, your feelings, what's going on. When you do all of those things, and especially there's a saying we say, core 4 before you hit the door, meaning kind of getting out for the day. Now, I work from home most of the time, so I'm not going out the door, but nonetheless, getting those things set up for you for success gives you so much more power and energy to then face. It's kind of like a springboard to jump off into your day, right? And so I want to encourage you here. Think about that. And I'd love to, you guys drop in your comments here as you're listening or following along, or you come back and watch this. What are you learning? What are you discovering? What has inspired you this year so far? And I love hearing what people are into. I just had a good friend, Jennifer Remnant. Congratulations today. Just finished writing her or launching her book. I'm like, that is so awesome. She took all this time to discover how to be a writer, to put it all together. We collaborated a little bit. I gave her some photos that she could use, and I was so glad to have her help. And she's an accountant, and believe it or not, numbers are not my strong point. But Jennifer has been great helping me in my business. And I'm learning QuickBooks and other things because I've had to. I'm like, okay, what am I learning and how do I apply this? And literally today with a client, we're going through QuickBooks and project setup. And I'm like, okay, we're learning some things about what's working and not working. And so I love to discover and then say, okay, well, this is what I learned and this is how I applied it. To me, that is great energy, and it helps me get in momentum. As I talked about in Monday, if you guys go back, I talked about, did you have a manic Monday or did you have a momentous Monday? And so here we are going to the end of the week, or the beginning of February, or the end of the week going into Friday. Are you ending the week strong and clear and motivated? And you're like, oh my goodness, I accomplished all these things. I was really moving forward. Or you're like, man, I don't even know what I was doing this week. I got off target and my energy's off. So think about this as you go into Friday tomorrow. It's February 2nd. There's a new day coming before you. Think about how you set yourself up for success in your physical body, how you set yourself up in your spiritual walk, how you set yourself up in your relationships, and then how you are in thinking in business. Meaning you don't have to be a business owner. It's meaning how you show up in your job, right? How do you show up in your role, in your career, with the people you work with? Think about those things. If you layer those things well, they're, like I said, a springboard to you. If you're stuck on that, or you're like, hey David, I'm not quite sure how exactly that all works, I want to talk with you more. I do discovery calls. It's not a cost, and it's a point of giving you information and helping you. I'll help you. And then if it feels like it's a good fit and you're like, hey David, could you do more? Absolutely. That's what I've got my coaching programs, Do It Yourself, going on about, and bringing others in. So here's an opportunity for you. If you're making a decision like, hey, I don't want to go another day, I don't want to get stuck. Well, I'm a resource. Here's David, and I'm happy to help you. I shared today, even on my own podcast, for those of you that haven't listened to it, it came out yesterday, Intelligent Human Leadership. Check that out, IHL for short. I talked about discovery in my marriage and what I had to do to get to where I'm at today. I'm all about being real with you guys, being raw about where I'm at. I don't have all the answers. I can't solve all of them here either, but I can at least give you some help and pointers and tips along the way and encourage you. And that's why I'm here, as an encourager, and letting you know you don't have to stay stuck in the pit, in the darkness of like, I'm just frustrated and I know I could do more. I know I could accomplish more. I just know it, but I'm just not there. I'm spinning my wheels. And so I've spent a lot of time and effort working on myself, and continue to do so. But if I can help anyone else along this journey of transformation and getting unstuck, particularly, if you're working in business. And for me, I was doing a lot in the business domain. I worked for years, and I was trying to, do better, make more money, right, and grow in my ability and my role within the company. But then I did that at the expense of other areas of my life. So I realized I needed to get things back in order, and I'll be talking more about that in future lives, and of course in the podcast. You guys can definitely hear it in the podcast. By the way, I'd love to hear your feedback on that. So but drop in a comment as to what are you discovering, what are you learning, what's inspiring you this year. I'd love to hear that from you. And where do you want to do with that? So I'm discovering it, or how is that applying in my life? How is that making my life better as I learn and apply this? So that's my word of encouragement for you tonight, recognizing that you too can move from a lack of clarity and power into a powerful, focused place by using some of these tools here that I'm sharing, and get you in a place where you're like, man, I'm a target. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm at. I have my purpose. I have my ability to lead myself and those around me, whether you're leading a team in business, or whether you're just purely leading yourself or your wife or your family, whoever those you have ability and influence around. We want to make sure you're the healthiest person in the room. That's my thing is that you personally are the healthiest person around. You've taken care of yourself in all these areas, and you show up in a loving, caring, powerful way that when others see you, they're just like, whoa, who is this person? He walks with an understanding and care and presence. And so I hope you feel that. I hope you feel that energy tonight as I come on live with you here, encouraging you. Discover, declare, share those things in the comment. Reach out. I look forward to hearing from you. Have an amazing Thursday night. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.